into Arizona. JT Toppin is 31-13. They win in overtime. Let's just start there. What would you make of that performance by the Red Raiders to walk in there and walk out with the dub?
Well, first and foremost, we really needed that because all of the big hyped up games that we were excited about kind of turned into duds for the first time, like the entire season, where it was a little bit. I think you said earlier, Dallin, hopefully we get a couple blowouts so I could take a nap to be ready to go after dark until it's over.
Your boy got a nap in. Your boy got a nap in.
You had a chance to take some naps.
I got 20 minutes.
No, but it was yeah, there you go, man. Honestly, there's nothing I like more than laying on the couch and falling asleep without realizing that you fell asleep and waking up 25 minutes later, I feel great right now. This is the best. Anyway, that didn't happen during the Texas Tech Arizona game. I thought that JT Toppin asserted himself into the National Player of the Year conversation in a way that I don't think we were considering before this performance, right? He's been a first-team All-American all year. Randolph Childress has been he's the second best player in college basketball bandwagon since the start of the season. I haven't necessarily disagreed, but I don't know if I was quite there. I'm at that point now. I thought that what he did in the second half and in overtime, we're going to talk about the post-up stuff down, and we're going to talk about his work on the offensive glass. To me, it's his threat as a passer that has opened up everything else because you can't just run two guys at him now. You could have done that last year. You can't do it now. The one that stands out to me was in overtime, the ball screen where Christian Anderson hit him on the short roll, and he just caught it and fired it straight to Donovan Atwell in the weak side corner, who knocked down a three to put him up by 4 in overtime. His ability to be able to be a guy that is not just someone that ends a possession, but you can run a possession through has changed what Texas Tech can be offensively. I've said it before on the show. Goodman, you've heard me say it. I think that Texas Tech has the best closing lineup in college basketball. Christian Anderson and JT Toppin and Lawan Watts, who didn't even play all that well, and a guy like Donovan Atwell, who is not afraid of a big shot in a big moment. That's the kind of team that you want in a close game, in a pressure-packed situation, because they're going to find a way to execute.
First of all, happy Valentine's Day. All right, happy Valentine's Day.
Come on. We're doing that. It's almost midnight. We're up here talking.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes, I'm spending Valentine's Day with you two schmucks. So yes, happy Valentine's Day.
Fair enough.
Love is in the air. Tech, I can feel it right now.
Texas Tech is I think this is the point where you could say they've arrived, right? You know, the game against Duke was obviously a hell of a win, but losing to UCF, they've got a couple good home wins. Right, who they beat BYU and Houston at home, I think. Mm-hmm. This one was huge. I mean, anytime you win, again, a road game at McHale anyway, and then against arguably the best team in the country. And I've been pushing back when people have said that, right? And I know everybody's like, well, you got it out against your alma mater or whatever. I still felt like Arizona, I don't think there's a dominant team right now. I don't even think Arizona and Michigan – we've kind of put there for a while. I don't think there's much of a gap between those two teams and the Texas Techs of the world and the Dukes of the world and the Houstons and whoever else you want to put in, UConn. I just don't. I think there's kind of one grouping right now of about 6 to 8 teams. And I think now you could probably put Texas Tech in that group and maybe extended it to 8 or 9 with this win because, again, they have 2 of maybe the top 10 players in the country. And those role guys have developed. And the bench has started to kind of show itself a little bit now. And that's been a huge part of it is really them getting healthy and Grant trusting those guys.
Dallin is frozen. All right, I will take over the hosting duties. No, look, we were able to catch up with Grant McCasland after the game today, and it's always great to talk with Grant because he's become one of my favorite coaches in college basketball to talk to. But he's honest and he's transparent and he doesn't really give you any BS, and that's exactly what we got in this interview. And now let me welcome onto the field of 68 After Dark, Texas Tech head coach Grant McCasland. And Grant, when you go on the road and you beat the number one team in the country in overtime. You come on the field at 68 after dark, man. This is just what we do. These are the moments that you live for, right? Coming on and joining us after a win like that. Take me through. Here's what I want to ask. Take me through the moment when Donovan Atwell's shot is in the air at the end of regulation. You knew that thing was good, didn't you?
Yeah, man. You know what? I thought we actually had some pretty good looks to start the game. I mean, they're so big and long and physical, and they make it hard on you. And what makes them difficult is they've got great anticipators. I mean, they've got real length and real players out there. I mean, Burris can really move. Jaden Bradley can really move. They move well. So sometimes when you watch on film, you're like, they're pretty open, but you're really in indecisive places. So I thought we started the game with good looks. And then we got through those first 15 minutes of the game. And I thought Donovan was going to get open eventually, because eventually those windows start to open if we could be patient on the offensive end. And those looks he got were off penetrating pitch, deep in the possession, the one he hit in the corner to give us the lead going into regulation. I mean, honestly, I'd seen him make too many, and he'd missed too many that were pretty good, that I just thought that one's too clean. He'd making that one. And then the one in overtime when JT came up with that 50-50 and fired it to him in the corner. I'm like, no, just a little too much time. He's making that one too. I mean, those are beautiful moments. And I think what separates those moments isn't the shot making. It's what he was doing on Jaden Bradley defensively to lead to that. I mean, he held him to 4-14, and he guarded him the whole time without fouling. And Bradley's a dog when it comes to end of games, man. He gets to 15 feet and he gets fouled at the highest level. And I just thought that's what made that special, is how great he was defensively to lead up to those moments.
So
much to the chagrin of our audience, I'm back. Sorry, internet dropped out there. And what I would have said if I didn't lose my ability to talk there was actually a lot of what Coach McCasland said. So maybe I would have sounded like a genius. Early in that game, guys, they missed a lot of shots that I thought they were getting good looks. One thing I thought they did all game that was truly impressive was their ability to battle on the backboard. They didn't necessarily dominate the backboard, but Arizona so rarely got a clean defensive rebound and could get in transition. Like, that's when Arizona started to make a little separation. They got some boards. They played ahead of the defense. They started to flow into some offense. But when you make this a half-court game, that's half the battle against the Wildcats. If you can make them play in that space for 40 minutes or for 37 minutes, you got a chance of winning. He was really, Bradley, they made him inefficient. They made him struggle. He wasn't able to take over the game late like he does at times. And he's going to watch the film, guys, of that shot at the end of regulation. That was some of the worst help defense you're ever going to see. He's got Atwell in the corner. They drive it. You can't help off a corner shooter. He not only kind of helps, he doesn't really affect the ball. He turns his body. Check it out. He spins like a top. So now he's facing the baseline, but he's also lost sight of him in the corner. And he buries a three. Like, it was horrible. He's going to watch that on film and have a nightmare about it, because I just don't know what he did. He was in no man's land, didn't affect the ball, didn't affect his man, and they hit a huge three. So this is a situation where I think Arizona will learn a lot from this, but we learned a lot about Texas Tech too. And they dealt with foul trouble all game, and they only played like they aren't deep. We know that. Christian Anderson went 40 again. They've answered a lot of questions for me in terms of what they're able to do when the chips are down, when guys aren't necessarily playing well and making shots. They found a way to win the game.
Yeah, the biggest thing is that, and one, let's put into context, Koa Pete played 11 minutes, right? Because he's dealing with a lower extremity injury. It doesn't sound like it's the most serious thing in the world, but it's something that he couldn't push through in this game. So missing a guy like that does impact things. I think you could probably say it got weighed out by Jalen Petty and Luke fouling out in this one. But I think that to me, this says a lot more about Texas Tech than it does about Arizona. Arizona's got warts. There's going to be points during the season where you have dips. We've seen a lot of these teams at the top of college basketball dealing with something similar. Losing at home is never ideal. Yes, I get it. But to me, this says a lot more about what Texas Tech's ceiling can be, right? I look at Texas Tech and I see a lot of similarities, at least in the way that they're constructed, to a team like Wisconsin, right? Where they're not perfect. They're not really great defensively. They have flaws that you can kind of look at. They don't necessarily overwhelm you with talent 1 through 7, right? But they got guys that know how to play. They got pieces that fit well together, and they got a couple players that can absolutely take over a game and it all works together. The pieces fit together so that when they hit their ceiling and when they hit their peak and when they play their best, you can see things like Texas Tech going on the road and beating Arizona, Wisconsin going on the road and beating Michigan and beating Illinois. And that's not a team that you want to see in March, man. If you're a 1 seed and you're looking in your region and you got Texas Tech as the 4, you're sitting there saying, man, that's a rough draw. That's not what you want to see when you get to the Sweet 16 kind of a matchup. And I think that's a really good place to be if you're Texas Tech.